Hi there, Wayway Games here. Um, it's gonna be a bit of a rambling video. Just what I want to start my channel, what track I want to set my channel on. I don't plan on putting a lot of effort into my videos. Mostly it's just gonna be me holding my phone, filming the collection, and listening to games. Um, I found to go to sleep, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I work night shifts, so my kids and my wife are making noise downstairs, so I'd often watch YouTube videos. And what I found helped me fall asleep the best was people listing off their video game collections, be it disc only through binders or, every game in their collection, one by one. And I really enjoyed that style. Instead of, counting sheep to fall asleep, I'd count somebody's video games, and um, I enjoyed that style of video. So that's kind of what I wanted to make with my channel, just going over my collection. I've got a fairly big collection of games. For like hardcore collectors, it's not massive. I think physical games, I've got about 800 or so. And then, the couple hundred you have on Steam or your PlayStation 4 from all the monthly games from PlayStation Plus and that kind of stuff puts me closer to probably about 1,200 games. But physical game collecting is a big hobby of mine, and I don't get to play as much as I would like to. I've got two kids, full time job. It's just one of the things that falls to the wayside. Um, but what I wanted to do with my channel was just catalog the video games I had and show what I've got, give my little opinions on the odd game as I'm going through it. I might do a weekly video on what I'm playing currently, because I can only make so many videos of, listing off games in my collection, because I'll run out of games to list and then my channel will be dead and I'm not sure what to do from there. I also really enjoy board games. Right now I'm playing a lot of Marvel Champions, the living card game. I was thinking maybe I'd do a couple videos on that. I'm not super hardcore into it where I've got, all the hero decks and all the scenarios and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really fun game. I play a lot solo at my work. I've got some downtime at my night shift at my job. It's one of the only benefits of staying up all night is that I don't have to deal with a lot of people and stuff. I've been collecting video games, I guess technically since I was a kid, getting them as they were coming out. My first console was a Nintendo 64, and I got it for Christmas, and it was amazing. And what kid in the 90s didn't lose their minds at getting either a PlayStation or an N64? I got the N64 because my neighbors had an N64 and a bunch of games, so my dad's thinking on it was, you can just borrow games from your neighbors, we'll get the same console. I didn't mind. I don't feel like I missed out on, PlayStation or anything, because I got all that for dirt cheap later on, as the consoles were coming out. When the PlayStation 2 and Xbox and those consoles came out, people were just throwing those games away, basically. So lots of them were picked up at garage sales, and it's heartbreaking, but I've sold, given away, and lost a ton of my games from my childhood. My entire N64 collection that I think it's right to get right there, I'll be going through. I had to rebuy as an adult because on one of my moves from my hometown to the city I'm living in now for college, and then I inevitably never left this city and just stayed here after college. My wife, had my kids, yada yada. I had to rebuy all of it because in the move from my hometown to this city, I lost them all. Like 30 games, all my save files, and when you go back and launch a game that is installed to you, it's fun seeing your old save files, and those are gone. So that's heartbreaking. So rebuilding that was expensive because when I decided I'm going to rebuild what I lost, it's the Nintendo tax on video games, so that's been an expensive rebuild. My biggest uh, collection that I enjoy is Xbox stuff. I got the N64 when I was a kid, and a Game Boy Color as well, which is amazing because Pokemon was crazy. I must have drove my dad insane begging him for a Game Boy Color and Pokemon, just one of them. I think um, Pokemon Yellow was the one that came out, and everyone was going crazy about it. And one day, my dad, such a sweetheart, I love my dad, just came home one day, said, "Quit complaining about it, quit asking for it," handed me the Game Boy Color, the yellow one, with Pokemon Yellow. Lost my mind. It's one of my favorite memories as a kid. Um, and then after that, I got like Halo fever, because years had gone by. Halo had come out with the original Xbox, and I can't explain to you how crazy people were going about Halo and the Xbox. Like, they're going insane. And so was I. I think I played it at my neighbor's house. They had an Xbox, and it was like another thing to drive my dad and my mom insane about, begging them for an Xbox. And I have a whole story with how I got the Xbox. It's a cute little Christmassy story that, that I have, that I'm going to make a dedicated video to the Xbox acquisition for Christmas, because it's cute and I love it, and it's one of my favorite memories as a kid. But I love the original Xbox. It's my favorite system to collect for. I've got the most games for it, and with the Xbox 360 as well. And then after the Xbox, I got my Xbox 360, because I don't know if it was my circle of friends or my town or what, but everyone I knew had an Xbox 360. Everyone. So you get what your friends have, so you can play with them. One thing about my childhood that might be different from other people of my era, I was born in the early 90s, and I completely missed online gaming. Where I lived, it was like in a hole in the middle of nowhere. It was down this big hill. We got no high-speed internet of any kind. I mean, middle of nowhere. We had dial-up. Not much game you can do on that. So I almost completely missed online gaming until I went to college in like the mid-2010s. And it was insane, going from no online gaming to, Black Ops 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. It was a wild time. Those were like my highlights for online gaming, was those years, because I actually had the internet at college. So I also missed a lot of MMORPGs, because all my friends were playing World of Warcraft. When the Lich King expansion came out, everyone was going crazy. I remember people canceling plans because they had raids to do, which I didn't understand at the time, but, back in old WoW, it was a big deal to get everyone together to do a raid. So MMORPGs is something I've kind of I just skipped them. I didn't have internet, can't play online, so I missed that era of gaming. I played RuneScape, of course, at the school library and high school and late elementary school, of course. But after the 360 is when I started getting into, retro collecting. I was visiting my buddy in college in Winnipeg, and we stopped at a game store, like a retro game store. And it was such a cool store. I'd never been in one like that before, because I was from a small town. We didn't have anything like that. I walked in, I bought, one of those replica consoles that could play NES games. It was like $40. And I picked up, I remember the games. It was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! And they all came with a manual, which was cool. Gauntlet 2 and Super Mario 3. And they were pretty affordable back then. For Mike Tyson Punch-Out!, Gauntlet, Bionic Commando as well, and Mario 3, I think I paid $80 maybe. That's with the console. Like, I got pretty good deals on everything, and I had so much fun at my buddy's dorm room playing Gauntlet 2 with them and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, trying to see how far we could get, that hooked me back into all the games I used to play when I was a kid, because my neighbors, who I swapped the N64 cartridges with, also had a Super Nintendo. So I played a lot of Super Nintendo when I was a kid, just from going to my neighbor's house, borrowing it. So like Super Metroid, Super Mario Land, Donkey Kong Country. Those were all staple games of when I was a kid, because I just go and play at my neighbor's place. So I was lucky enough to snag all of my neighbor's retro gaming stuff in my adulthood, because I explained to them that, like, hey, I'm into this, old gaming thing. Do you have any games? So I got a bunch of Super Nintendo stuff, bunch of Xbox stuff, and it was great. Those little scores always feel nice. And my interests for retro collecting are all over the place. I'm a big fan of light gun shooters, House of the Dead, the Resident Evil, Dead Aim is one of my favorites. I have the Hip Gear light gun to go with it, that they package together. I don't have the box because it's an expensive package to get. Anyway, and Resident Evil, while we're on that note, is just such a great series, and it's all-time favorite of mine. I've got most of the physical games, and I luckily, before the pandemic started, picked up most of them for when they were much more affordable. For some reason, the pandemic hit and survival horror games became ludicrously expensive. Like the Silent Hills, good lord. I don't own any of the old Silent Hills, because by the time I was like, hey, I'll get around to collecting these, people wanted way too much. I think I've got a couple Silent Hill collection, like on the PS3, the HD collection, which is an okay HD port of the games, and I've got Downpour and Silent Hill Origins, but I missed that boat on that series. But I'd got all the Resident Evil ones just before the prices went crazy, and I also picked up Resident Evil Gaiden, or Gaiden, and I've never known how to pronounce that, at a really reasonable price. But now that game is ridiculous. I'm ranting here, obviously. I'm going all over the place. I didn't know what to do when I started recording, and here we are. I'm ranting, but I appreciate it if you're still listening at this point. A big part of why I want to do this channel, besides that, to help me fall asleep, I liked when people listed off the games, and I thought, there's a niche for people who like to look at, smaller collections from, I'm not going to be a big YouTuber or anything. That's perfectly fine. I'm just doing my thing. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. Is, a lot of the little gems and games that I've really enjoyed throughout the years that I picked up have been from these little YouTube videos and stuff, people talking about their favorite games. So I want to also do some videos on, not hidden gems exactly, but like games that were really important to me. I have no editing or YouTubing skills of any kind, so I'm going to be learning, and if you're here from the beginning, you're going to be seeing me make a lot of mistakes and a lot of crummy videos, but this is just for fun, and if you're enjoying the content, I really appreciate it. So what I'm really getting at, I guess, is that this channel is going to be all over the place. It's going to be mostly related to physical game collecting, and a little bit of board games, maybe. Speaking of Resident Evil, I want to do videos on. I've got all the Kickstarter and regular releases of the Resident Evil board games. They're fantastic, and I love them, and I want more people to play them. And I just love Resident Evil, so I'll probably do a whole video dedicated to Capcom as well in the future, because Monster Hunter is my second favorite video game series. Capcom's really nailing it out of the park in my interest. So I'm going to try and release videos weekly, and if I continue to do what I've been doing and doing the weekly videos, I'll be happy. If I get a couple dozen views here and there, cool beans. I also like to collect hockey cards. I've got a little bit of hockey memorabilia around the room, mostly for my wife. She's the big hockey fan. I've never been a big sports guy, but it's an interesting hobby to collect for, just like retro game collecting or any collecting. I like anybody's collections. Anybody who's passionate about collecting stuff, stamps, I don't care. If you're passionate about it, it immediately makes it interesting to me, and then I'm looking at eBay prices, and it's a sickness, but that's just the way it is. So thank you very much for listening to my rant, and I really hope you tune in for future videos of mine, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a good one. Hi, well, immediately back again. One of the other major things I wanted my channel to be about was what it was like to experience video gaming when I was a kid. I love, like, in the Angry Video Game Nerd videos when he talks and shows photos when he was a kid playing video games, what it was like getting those systems, what it was like on the school playground talking about those games. I love that kind of stuff, and I haven't really found many YouTubers who make a lot of videos of, like, what it was like getting the Game Boy Color and Pokemon when you were a kid, what it felt like, how you enjoyed it, you know, the nostalgia, stories from your friends, all that kind of stuff. I want to make a lot of videos about when I was a kid and about the gaming that I enjoyed back then. So that's going to be an important part of my channel as well. And I swear this is the last thing I'm tacking on to this video. And that's it. And this time for real, goodbye, thank you.